What is up? Welcome to Pistons Talk Podcast. Hope you guys are having a great Thursday night. In today's episode, what we'll be discussing, ESPN's top 100 list. This is a list that comes out every year and it pisses people off. And I saw some Pistons fans crashing out over it, and I get it. We did get 3 Pistons actually that did crack the top 100, which is cool. We'll be going over just the list from 1 through 100. We'll start from 100 and just kind of work our way up because there are some people that put out the list on Twitter, which, thank you. Didn't feel like reading the whole list and taking individual screenshots. Just didn't have the time, right? And I also wanted to get into Fanduel Sports Network Detroit. They did announce today how many games they will be covering with the Detroit Pistons this year. This is a very big year for not only the Pistons, but the NBA as a whole with the way games are going to be broadcasted. In most years, we'd see FanDuel pick up almost every game. They will not be picking up every game this season, so we'll be going over that to end the podcast. But let's get into this ESPN's top 100 list. So I'm going to fire through these real quick because I don't want to waste too much of your guys' time. We're going to start from 100 all the way down to 51, and then I'll kind of just give my thoughts on just, this type of the ranking from 100 to 51. So let's start it. So coming in at 100 was RJ Barrett, 99, Stephon Castle, Walker Kessler at 98, Peyton Pritchard at 97, Nickeil Alexander-Walker at 96, PJ Washington at 95, Devin Vassell at 94, Yoka Poeltl at 93, Mitchell Robinson 92, Drew Holiday 91, Naz Reid 90, Andrew Wiggins 89, Zach Edey 88, Jonas Valanciunas 87, Bradley Beal 86, Pistons Jaden Ivey at 85, Tobias Harris at 84 from the Detroit Pistons, Jonathan Kuminga at 83, 82 Norm Powell, 81 Andrew Nebhart, 80 DeMar DeRozan, 79 Onyeka Okongwu, 78 Tamani Kamara, 78 Brandon Ingram, 77 Brandon Miller, 76 Jaden McDaniels, 75 Jabari Smith, 74 Derek Lively, 73 Zach LaVine, 72 Colby White, 71 Michael Porter, 70 Josh Hart, 69 Tyler Hero, 68. Cam Johnson's a new 67 this year. You don't have to worry about that, Cade. 66, Denny Avdia. 65, Andrew Naismith. 64, Lou Dort. 63, LaMelo Ball. 62, Christian Braun. 61, Zion Williamson. 60, Austin Reeves. 59, Jalen Suggs. 58, Trey Murphy. 57, Miles Turner. 56, Isaiah Hartenstein. 55, Dyson Daniels. 54, Paul George. 53, Alex Caruso. 52, Cooper Flagg. And 51, Draymond Green. So that is ESPN's list from 100 to 51. We did get 2 Pistons in this. We got Tobias Harris and Jaden Ivey at 84 and 85 respectively. So shout out to both of them for making the list. I do know last year Jalen Duren I think was like at 99. He obviously was not on this list. No twin either, Noah Sar Thompson. He didn't make this list, which I was kind of surprised. His brother did make this list. We'll get into it in a little bit. But kind of just looking between like 100 and 51. There's some guys I just think are just rated way too low. There's a couple of guys that I did want to go over. I know me being a Piston fan, this is mostly a Pistons podcast, and we try to focus on the Detroit Pistons on this one. But I was kind of surprised LaMelo Ball was in the 60s. I know that Charlotte has been an organization that hasn't had a lot of success, but him being at 63 was kind of wild to me. Another player that I kind of thought was a little bit underappreciated in this one is Trey Murphy. Again, I know the Pelicans had a lot of injuries, but I mean, 50, I think Trey Murphy should at least be like in the, low 50s to high 40s. But that's just me. I mean, maybe there's a player on this list that you guys just don't agree with. I mean, Zach Edey at 88. Cool, I guess. This list is just all over the place. And you guys can see why so many people get so just infuriated with these top 100 lists because they're all over the place. So let's go over, transition into 50 to 11. There is a Detroit Piston in this one. It's Cade Cunningham. I'm not going to spoil it if you guys haven't seen already where he's at, but let's fire through these. Number 50, Kristaps Porzingis. Number 49, Rudy Gobert. 48, Mikal Bridges. 47, Joel Embiid. 46, Jamal Murray. 45, Jared Allen. 44, Jalen Johnson. 43, Lauri Markkanen. 42, Julius Randle. 41, OG Anunoby. Number 40, Aaron Gordon. 39, Desmond Bane. 38, Darius Garland. 37, Amen Thompson, Asar's brother. Asar did not make this list. Maybe they forgot about him. I'm not really sure. I'm still kind of just tripping that Asar didn't make this list. 36, Avasa Eubanks. 35, De'Aaron Fox. 34, Domantas Sabonis. 33, John Morant. 32, Franz Wagner. 31, Jaren Jackson Jr. Number 30, Scotty Barnes. 29, Trae Young. 28, Tyrese Maxey. 27, Karl Anthony Towns. 26, Eric's favorite player, Derek White. Number 25, Alperen Sengun. Number 24, Chet Holmgren. Number 23, James Harden. 22, Pascal Siakam. 21, Bam Adebayo. Number 20, Kawhi Leonard. 19, Jaylen Brown. 18, Jimmy Butler. 17, Paolo Banchero. 16, Devin Booker. 15, Donovan Mitchell. 14, Anthony Davis. 13, Evan Mobley. Number 12, Cade Cunningham. And number 11, Jalen Williams. So this is the list from 50 to 11. Now, Cade bumped up so many spots, 55 spots to be exact. He was 67 last year. That's where Cam Johnson is currently. And he goes to 12. And that would kind of check out for his third team All-NBA status. But I don't really think that's like a comparable when ESPN does these lists to NBA voting across the media. I don't think the two things are comparable. I think these lists sometimes by ESPN is they just throw a bunch of names in a hat and pick them. Kind of feels like that's how they make their list, but I know that's not like the criteria for it. But Cade at 12, I love. I saw people initially when this list came out, like this section of the list from ESPN, they're like, there's no way Jalen Williams is better than Cade Cunningham. It's just a one-on-one basketball player. There's just no really comparable. Jalen Williams did just win a championship, second. You could debate third best player on a championship team. I think no one's really debating that Cade Cunningham isn't a better player than Jalen Williams, but I think when these lists come out, I think there is some ring culture. There's some recency bias. Cade had a phenomenal season. I'm just happy he cracked the top 15 personally. The fact that he was 12 is great. I mean, who's to say that Cade can't crack top 7, top 8 next year, possibly top 5. So this was the list from 50 to 11. We do want to transition over to the top 10 because I think when you look at this top 10 list, there's one player in here that I saw today where, not saying that he can't get to a top 10 level in the NBA. I just think the way the media has kind of crowned him as like this future face of the league, I just have to see it a little bit more. He was injured last year, got blood clots. I probably just ruined it if you guys know who I'm talking about. But here's the top 10. Jalen Brunson, Kevin Durant, LeBron James, Stephen Curry, Anthony Edwards, Victor Wembanyama, Giannis, Luka Doncic, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Nikola Jokic. So Jokic was 1, Shai was 2, Luka Doncic was 3, Giannis was 4, Victor Wembanyama was 5, Anthony Edwards was 6, Stephen Curry was 7, LeBron James was 8, Kevin Durant was 9, and Jalen Brunson was 10. I'm just going to focus on Victor Wembanyama, right? Listen, I get the hype with him. Him being over 7 feet tall, protecting the rim, splashing threes, being able just to do everything on the basketball court. It's fun to watch. But I don't really think he is worthy of top 5 in the NBA. I just don't. If he was like at 9 or 10 or even 11, I'm like, okay. But top 5, I was like, okay, like what are we doing here, ESPN? I know ESPN has their favorites. I know that they like to just hype up players. There's definitely, favorites among them. But That's just me. Maybe I'm tripping. Maybe Victor is a top 5 talent in the NBA. I just have to see it. Hopefully he's fully healthy and recovered from that thrombosis, those blood clots. But this was ESPN's top 100 list. Not really surprised at Jokic or SGA. Steph and LeBron, you obviously, you're going to bring those guys in there for like ring culture. Jalen Brunson at 10. I think Cade Cunningham, could definitely, be in this top 10 with Jalen Brunson and all these guys, just depending on like who retires, who's still at the top of this kind of ranking going into the, the 26th summer, right before the season starts. But this is a list that I saw a lot of people debate. I saw some people say, why is Luka 3? Why, like, he only plays one side of the floor. Why are some people like Apollo Banchero rated so low, or so low, like at 17? They think he should be a little bit higher on this list. Derek White, like, if you guys know, friend of the podcast, Eric Vincent, as soon as he saw Derek White, we did a podcast with Sean Murphy yesterday that was out. Like, he said it was my fault for the reason why Derek White was so high, because I always tease him about not liking Derek White because he calls him an industry plant. But yeah, man, these lists every year, they seem just to piss people off, and I get it. The comment I made earlier about them just picking players or picking lots out of a hat, it kind of feels like that's how they make the list sometimes, because like when you compile top 100 players across the NBA, I feel like some players are rated like right where they need to be, but there are other players where it's just like, how the hell is he like the 70th best player in the NBA, right? But that's just my thought process on it. Did want to kind of bring it to your guys' attention if you haven't seen it. But just to recap, if you're a Piston fan and you didn't catch the 3 players on the Detroit Pistons that did make it, I made this graphic earlier this week. So Jaden Ivey comes in 85, Tobias Harris 84, and Cade Cunningham 12th with these ESPN top 100 rankings right before this season starts. We're going to take a short break, and then we are going to go into this Fanduel Sports Network and how many games that the Detroit Pistons will be on their network and how many they will broadcast this upcoming season. I'm just going to take a quick water break, and we will be right back, you guys. Okay, we are back. I want to get into the Fanduel Sports Network Detroit broadcast schedule. So shout out to Amari Sankofa. He had this tweeted out earlier this morning. Fanduel Sports Network will carry 71 regular season games and 3 preseason games. The team announced that 9 games will be exclusive to national TV. The remaining 2 are to be determined NBA Cup games. So I know last year we just kind of had like TNT and ESPN games, because those were the only 2 other broadcasting partners on a national level that the NBA had partnerships with. This year you have NBC, you have Peacock, Amazon Prime, ESPN, and TNT inside the NBA, but I think ESPN kind of bought them out, so they'll kind of be like under one roof. But there's multiple broadcast partners now. That's the reason why the Pistons do have more national games. They have 9 this year. Just throughout the season, I'm like, they could end the season with 15 because they're just hot, and these networks want to make money. But wanted to kind of just go over these games. It's a broadcast schedule, a TV schedule. So just to start up the preseason, FanDuel will be covering 3. The only one that they won't be covering is the second preseason game on October 9th against the Milwaukee Bucks. We don't even know if it's going to be on TV. You might have to go on some like really shady website to watch it if you're that down bad for Pistons preseason basketball on October 9th. But the very first preseason game will be broadcasted on October 6th, actually coming up before you know it, at 8 o'clock on FanDuel. And then you kind of look at just the broadcast schedule as a whole. The only nationally televised game in October is the 27th against the Cleveland Cavaliers, and that will be exclusively on Peacock. FanDuel has every game in October except for that Peacock game against the Cavs on the 27th. And you kind of have these Peacock games right here. Saturday, November 1st against the Mavericks. This is the Mexico City game, if I do remember correctly. Peacock will have that game, and it starts at 10 p.m. on November 1st. And then you just kind of see FanDuel. There's a Peacock game. It'll be on FanDuel and Peacock. Then you got the Emirates Cup. NBC and Peacock and FanDuel have this game at 8 p.m. against the Hawks. Then you have the Celtics, which will be on FanDuel and the ESPN app on ESPN. You have the Emirates Cup. And then there's more FanDuel games, as you guys can see if you are watching live on YouTube. Again, they'll be carrying over 70-plus games, 71 to be exact, for the regular season with the Detroit Pistons. Did kind of want to just touch on it briefly. I know watching games can be a pain in the ass if you're not in Michigan. There are other ways you can watch Pistons games. You can get League Pass and install a VPN. Say you're in Detroit or Michigan, right? A lot of people do that. There are other ways. There are other sites. I'm not going to name the other sites just because RIP to Stream East. They got taken down. They found those guys. They were in Egypt somewhere. Stream East had an incredible run, man. That was a generational run, but there are other websites just like Stream East that I'm not going to name. But if you are watching live on YouTube right now, you can drop those in the live chat. I'm not going to name it because I don't want to snitch, because I don't want these other free sites getting taken away. But if you are here locally in Michigan and you don't want to go through all that hassle of, clicking through off a bunch of ads on these shady sites, it's $20 a month. No long-term contracts. I'm not plugging FanDuel. That's what I do. I just pay the $20 a month because I'm lazy. Some nights when the app isn't functional, I will go on these pirated websites if my app's not working. But ever since FanDuel bought them out, it's actually been pretty damn reliable. There was one game where it was just really bad, and just the TVs went black and they had to do like a radio play-by-play earlier this season. But I mean, other than that, I mean, there's nothing really to discuss too deeply with the FanDuel Sports Network Detroit broadcast schedule. 71 out of 82 games. Pistons will be on national games, Peacock, ESPN, Amazon Prime, NBC. So really exciting. Preseason's right around the corner. Media Day is on Monday. I can't wait. I did actually reach out to Pistons PR. I sent an email over a week ago. I haven't heard anything back because I'm trying to go to Media Day, try to get content for you guys, but I haven't heard anything. If I do hear anything, I will keep you guys updated if I am down there, try to get some content. But if not, we'll still be talking about Media Day. Maybe we'll invite Eric or a reporter on that was down there to kind of give us insight about this upcoming season. But did want to do just a little short podcast for you guys today because I'm not going to do one this weekend. Hope you guys are having a great night. Take care. And as always, go Pistons. Peace.